Found this on Amazon. The seller is TCMRC. I don't know anything about this store, but it was only 136 bucks when I paid for it, and it was like 2-day shipping. There was like six left available. I was like, I better grab one. I haven't been flying a 5-inch in a while drone. The ones I have built are pretty old, although they have F4 boards. This one also comes with a flight controller F4 with 60 amp ESCs and a 600 milliwatt transmitter. So old school 5.8 gigahertz analog. Got ready to go with plug and play. So no build needed. And only thing I have to do is connect my satellite receiver for Spektrum DSMX. I'll get that going. So let's check it out. Sweet. Comes with propellers. Got 4 here, 5-inch. All right. And as you can see, I'm working. Got 4 screens up. It's crazy. Some parts. Looks like tools. Here's that antenna. Extra screws. More screws. So one's probably motor screws and frame. Then zip ties. And Velcro strap for the battery. And look at this, pretty sweet. Ready to go. Looks like XT60 battery connector. This is probably another interface cable for a satellite receiver, some kind of receiver. So I'll take that one off, and I believe there should be a S-bus for serial port here down at the bottom. So we have the flight controller. Oh, nice. It uses USB-C interface. Haven't seen that yet. Looks like that's a bind button. And here on top looks like the transmitter for the video, because I see a little wire cable coming out to the back where the antenna would go. Let's see, motors 2206 size, it looks like 2800 kV. Very smooth. Like it. It's got the FPV camera on front. I'm not sure what field of view that has. We'll test that out. You can see it's set right now for people that fly this much angle. I probably fly more like that. I'll have to drop that angle down. The tilt, camera tilt. Battery goes on top. It's got a rubber grip. So the strap will go right here. I don't know if I'll need to move it to the bottom because I have to figure out how to put on a camera mount for my GoPro. I need to measure these screw widths for these standoffs. I think the one I have now is 25 millimeter diameter space for the mount, so I could probably put it here and then mount that to the bottom, the battery. Maybe I'll have enough space if I can put it very forward. But that's the drone, ready to go. All-in-one ESC at the bottom, flight controller middle, and the video transmitter at the top, 600 milliwatt. Looks like there's a capacitor at the bottom on the distribution board for the 60 amp ESCs. So I'll connect to Betaflight, see how it looks. It should already have some version of Betaflight. Probably keep that and just tune it. Configure the satellite receiver, transmitter, etc. And then yeah, set my modes and rates. Of course, the PIDs. Let's see what else. So yep, still 136 on Amazon, but it ships a lot later, so looks like it's come straight from China. Some more information, got it on Amazon, so check that out. All right, ready to connect this flight controller to Betaflight. Make sure you have a good cable that isn't charging only. Tried 2 other cables, wasn't connecting to Betaflight, no interface to the PC. So make sure you confirm that you have a data cable. All right, so we have power light on the flight controller. Now it auto connects to Betaflight. It's pretty level here. I think it's flat. Let's calibrate one more time. All right, it's done there, and it looks like the target it says RC405/ICM whatever that is, and then STM32F405. The firmware version is 4.4.2, 4.4.2. I think there's 4.5 out there, so this looks pretty current. I'm going to leave it as is. What I'm going to do is get screenshots of all of the configuration settings, setup, port, configuration. I want to make sure the yaw tilt is on there correctly. If I do upgrade to 4.5, let's check out ports. Has UR2 already checked for serial RX. We'll see if that works for my Spektrum satellite receiver. If not, I'll go to UR4. I did contact the seller to see if it indeed has S-Bus for serial, and of course it does. And they mentioned UR4, so we'll come back to that. Configuration, sweet. So 8 kilohertz gyro frequency with 4 kilohertz PID loop. Leave it like that, and we are forward. I'm going to take these screws off the top of the frame bracket and make sure whatever else is on there, it's pointing forward, but it should be good to go. It says 0 degrees for yaw, so it should be pointing straight. I can change the name if I want. I'm going to keep all this. Yeah, max arm angle 180 is good, so I can arm it if it's flipped over in turtle mode. Everything else is default on the right, checked. Don't care about LED strip because I don't have that on here. On-screen display, flying old school. 5.8 gigahertz. I'm not even sure if my goggles can do that, but I'll leave that alone. Air mode, permanently enable air mode. Might keep that or shut that off and set it in the modes. Power battery, I don't mess with. Fail safe, I'll set for a kill switch to drop. It's probably aux2 presets. I could pick one of these. Check those out. PID tuning. Let's take a peek here. I don't see the slider option. This is newer to me because normally my targets are 4.3. But I don't know. It might be just default. We'll test that out. Rates. Center sensitivity. Yeah, that's new to me. I'm not used to that. Turn down the max rate. I'm going to add some expo. Let's see here. Mid throttle, it's fine. Throttle expo, no. Limit's 100. Yeah, it seems pretty high to me for rates. And then filter settings. It looks like it's turned down a tenth for default filtering. I'm not sure if that comes like that by default, and everything is checked marked, and I'm sure it's default. Receiver I'll set up with, what do we have? Spektrum 1024. Nope, I'll have to use Spektrum 2048 for DSMX. So I'll set that. And here's where I'll set my modes. Arm, I'm not going to use angle. And I really don't use any of these other settings. I'll test out the motors. And then video transmitter, we'll see, we'll play around with that. But target is version 4.4.2 and RC405. All right, got the top plate off, total of 8 screws. Felt like there was Loctite on it, but they were clicked in pretty good. The board is facing forward, no changes there. When I connected to Betaflight, did the orientation, so it did the rolls correct, and pitch was fine. Next thing I'm going to do is connect the receiver. I think it's going to be, let's see, the middle one is the flight controller. I have to get a flashlight. Probably one of these ports down here, probably the far right one for the serial port. So I'm going to unplug this wire. Shouldn't need this. I'm just going to yank on it. Try not to pull this antenna wire. Route it this way. So I'll yank that out and then plug in the serial satellite and then reconnect. Okay, I put the top plate back on because when examining the flight controller, those ports at the bottom left and right are too small for a Spektrum serial receiver, a satellite receiver. So those plugs are like 4 pins when the Spektrum has 3 pins, and it's flatter. The plugs is about this size. That looks like it goes to the camera. I did email the seller to ask what exactly is this cable that comes out the back. I'm not sure if that's for like LED or maybe it is a receiver, adapter wire. So hopefully I hear back soon. I was just checking what else they sell for Spektrum adapter cables. So I'm hoping this cable here that has what are these servo type plugs with this adapter will be compatible, and if that's a receiver wire port, I can connect it that way, but we'll see.